Fine. So now we are going to talk about this Hamilton's principle. Hmm? Now, from the Euler equation, if you know that the Euler equation, the functional sum j is always given by some integral of some function, or whatever the function could be. Now, when this is what we call as an integrand, जिसका हम integration यहाँ पे करते हैं, this is called the integrand. When the integrand f is taken to be a Lagrangian, if the integrand is a Lagrangian, you know that the Lagrangian for a non-relativistic system is defined as the Lagrangian for non-relativistic system. Now, what is non-relativistic system? Those systems where the velocities are very small as compared to, or in other words, I must say that the kinetic energy is small as compared to the rest mass of the particles. So that is what we know as the non-relative. Or we can say that the systems where the system is moving with a speed very less comparable to the speed of the light. So the Lagrangian for the non-relativistic system is defined as this Lagrangian is denoted by L and is defined as T minus V, right? The kinetic energy minus the potential energy. This is the Lagrangian for a particular system. Now here, like in the previous cases, Euler equation, जब हम कर रहे थे, we were talking in terms of the coordinates like x, y, and yx. Now here we are using, there we are taking this x as an independent variable and y as a dependent variable. Now for this particular system, when my integrand is a Lagrangian, I will use the time as an independent variable instead of x. So using time as an independent variable instead of this x, and xit as the dependent variable, as the dependent variable. Okay, so what it means, that means instead of x, I'm going to use the variable as t, and instead of yi, yesterday we talked about the several dependent variables. So we were, if we have the more than one dependent variable like y1, y2, y3, so yi is simply xit, and then the derivative of this y coordinate, that is yix, derivative with respect to x, is xi dot t. This dot means the derivative with respect to the x. Now what is this xit? This xit is the position of a particle. This is the position with respect to the time, right? And at certain time. And this xi dot t, this I can write this as, since this is the derivative, so this is the dxi by dt, right? That means the derivative of this coordinate, position coordinate with respect to time. So what do we also call it, this as a velocity. So this is the velocity of the system, of a system, or I can say that the particle as a function of time, right? Now you know that the equation, this the variation principle, this delta j is equal to 0. So then delta j is equal to 0 is actually the mathematical statement of this Hamilton's principle of classical mechanics. So what is my j? So then my integral will now become delta j equal to 0. So j, as I say, this is j is defined as an integral of this Lagrangian. So that then it will become this delta, sorry, so delta of some from time t1 to t2 instead of x1 and x2, Lagrangian of which is a function of these coordinates like x1, x2, so on up to xn, and this x1 dot, x2 dot, so on up to xn dot, and also the time t. So this is what I mean by into dt will be equal to 0. So delta j equal to 0 means delta of this Lagrangian, integral of the Lagrangian will be equal to 0. Now you already know that the Hamilton principle states that the motion of a system, from a time t1 to t2 is such that the time integral, this is a time integral, that the time integral of a Lagrangian L or we also call this as a action, has a stationary value. This is the Hamilton's principle. So let me write the statement here. The Hamilton's principle states that Hamilton's principle states that the motion of a system, the motion of a system from time t1 to t2 is such that is such that the time integral the time integral of Lagrangian L has a stationary value and has a minimum value, has a stationary value. Fine. Okay, now what could be the possible this Euler equation, that is the resulting Euler equation from this principle, that is what we call as a Lagrangian equations of the motion. So the resulting Euler equation, now this is the same. So we will just do the same treatment which we have done for when we're taking the integrand f as a function of ix and defining some other paths in terms of some other variables. Then we arrive at the equation what we call as an Euler equation. So the resulting Euler equation for this particular case are called as the Lagrangian equations of motion. The resulting Euler equations, the resulting Euler equations are usually called as जिनको हम Lagrangian equations of motion बोलते हैं. Lagrangian equations of motion. Okay, so what could be the, since you already know the this Euler equation. So the Euler equation for this for the Lagrangian, that is what we call as a Lagrangian equation of motion, will be like, it will be d by dt of this partial L by partial xi dot minus partial L by partial xi will be equal to 0. This is what we call as a Lagrangian equations of motion. Okay, so this is why this Lagrangian equation we simply obtained from by considering the integrand f of a variational principle as a Lagrangian. So when we are going to take, when we define the Lagrangian, the Lagrangian is defined as the difference in the kinetic energy and the potential. So applying all those things, we will arrive at this equation which we called as, so using so this is the Euler equation. So what we call this is the Lagrangian is involved. So we call this as a Lagrangian's equation of motion. Now these Lagrangian's equation of motion can be derived from the Newton's equations of motion, and the Newton's equations of motion can be derived from the Lagrangians. Okay? We can obtain the Newton's equations of motion, usually the Newton's second law of motion, from this Lagrangian's equation of motion. Also, we can obtain this Lagrangian equation from the Newton's second law of motion. So the two equations actually, these two sets of the equations are actually equally fundamental. They are fundamental in itself. Now we will try to prove a one simple problem on the basis on this Lagrangian's equation of motion, by in which we will just obtain the uh, I will see, can we obtain the second law of motion from this Lagrangian's equation of motion. So for that case, what I will do, I will consider a particle of mass m, consider a particle of mass m moving in one dimension, moving in one dimension with its position described by Cartesian coordinate x. Cartesian coordinate x. And this particle is subjected to, because you know that the particle is subjected to a potential v of x, is subjected to some potential. We will denote this potential by v of x. So you know that if a particle is moving in this direction, for example, if this is a Cartesian coordinate, x and y, the particle is moving along the x direction and it has a mass m, you can easily find out it is, uh, this what we call as a kinetic energy. You know that the kinetic energy, classical kinetic energy 1 by 2 mv square. Okay. So the kinetic energy is given by, so usually we define this kinetic energy P by 1/2 of m. Now instead of v, I have the coordinate x, right? So what I will do, that I will just note x dot square, because x dot square is my v. Okay, if this is the kinetic energies, then we can easily, and this is the potential, so you can so you can say that the Lagrangian L will be equal to T minus V, that is equal to 1 by 2 m x dot square minus v of x. This potential is a function of x, right? Okay, now what is the Lagrangian equations of motion? Now the Lagrangian equations of motion which I have written here, that is d by dt of partial L by partial x dot I minus partial L by partial xi will be equal to 0. Okay, let us try to obtain these values and just substitute this equation. I will write here. So what is, by the way, partial L by partial xi dot, partial L by partial xi dot, and a derivative with respect to this x, not I, x dot simply. I will just include this one, partial L by partial x. Fine. Okay. So what is now partial L by partial x dot here? It will be simply twice 1 by 2 into twice mx dot. So it will be m x dot, right? And what will be the partial L by partial x? So this is a function of x only. This is not a function of x. So it will be minus d total derivative v of x by dx, right? So let me denote this as f of x, because the force F here is defined as the negative gradient of a potential. Force F is defined, so force F is defined as, this is the gradient, negative gradient, negative gradient of potential Vx, right? Okay, now just substitute this and this in this particular equation. How I will write down this as, so d by dt of dl by dx. So this equation implies d by dt of partial L by partial x, partial L by partial x dot, that is simply m x dot minus partial L by partial L by partial x, partial L by partial x, that is what, minus f of x. This will be equal to 0. Or simply I can write this f of x will be equal to d by dt of m x dot. What is m x dot? It is m x dot is x dot is dx by dt. So dx by dt is simply v. Okay, if I'm going to take the derivative of this v, because so it will be d by dt of v. You know that the derivative of v, that is acceleration, right? Acceleration, I can write down this as x dot, x double dot, or I can say that this is d by dt of x dot. So d by dt of x dot is simply ma. So we can find out that the force is equal to mass into the acceleration. This is, which is the Newton's second law of motion. So I take this Lagrangian, I just use the Euler equation of motion, and I derive the Newton's second law of motion from this Lagrange's equation of motion. So that is what I was saying, from the Hamilton Lagrangian equation motion. So conversely, this is also true. We can obtain the Lagrange's equation of motion from this. They are equally fundamental. So I can also obtain the Lagrangian equation, just do it conversely, and you will arrive at the Lagrangian equations of motion, right? Okay, so this after the Hamilton principle, this is one of the property of this that of the Lagrangian equation motion, that with this Newton's second law of motion can be obtained from the Lagrangian equation of the motions. Okay, now one simple concept. Now I will consider some moving particle in circular cylindrical coordinates. Instead of taking it into these Cartesian coordinates, now I will consider moving particle in circular cylindrical coordinates. Cylindrical coordinates. Okay. Now what I will do, I will consider a particle moving in xy plane that is z is equal to 0. So in this plane, x and y. So when I'm considering a particle in the xy plane, that is z is equal to 0. So I will use the cylindrical coordinates, and I will just convert the cards from Cartesian coordinate to the cylindrical coordinates. So in the Cartesian coordinates, we have the coordinates as x and y. In the cylindrical coordinates, in two dimension only, I will use rho and phi instead of rho theta and phi. I will use rho and phi. So how I will write down the kinetic energy? So the kinetic energy in the Cartesian coordinate in two-dimensional coordinate, that the kinetic energy is given by 1 by 2 m of this x dot square plus y dot square, right? In the two dimension. So in writing this kinetic energy in this rho and phi, so this will be equal to 1 by 2 of m. Now x dot square, that will be simply rho dot square plus this will be, when I'm taking it to the rho and phi, so this will be rho square phi dot square. This is the conversion of the units from cylindrical to phi dot square, rho square into phi dot square. So writing this kinetic energy from Cartesian coordinates will take a form like this. Now here again we have kinetic energy. I will use the potential energy to be equal to 0 for simplicity, because it will make me for simplicity. And I will just say that let this be that the potential be equal to 0. Now what could be the velocity in the cylindrical coordinates? Now the velocity in cylindrical coordinates, now the velocity in cylindrical coordinates, I denote it by v rho, that will be equal to rho dot. Rho dot, yani taking the derivative of this rho with respect to the time, rho dot. And along the phi, v of phi, velocity along the phi will be equal to rho phi dot. Rho phi dot, yani rho into the d phi by dt. Now again, so using this velocity as a this and this, we will use the Lagrangian equation of motion first to this coordinate and then to this coordinate. So using the Lagrangian of equation to this coordinate and this coordinate, the equation will be like d by dt of m rho dot minus dou v by dou t, that will be m rho phi dot square. This will be equal to 0, and applying to this coordinate, we will have d by dt of m rho square phi dot will be equal to 0. So on applying the Lagrangian equation of motion to the rho coordinate and the phi coordinate independently, we will obtain these two equations, right? So what could be what is this equation? This is actually a radial equation. This is a radial equation equated to centrifugal force. Equated to centrifugal force in the physics, centrifugal force. And this equation actually, it is the conservation of angular momentum equation. So this is the conservation, this equation yields the conservation of angular momentum in the cylindrical coordinates, angular momentum. So we just obtained the two different equations corresponding to the rho and the phi by using. I did not I didn't elaborate it for this the equation. If you are interested, you can do it itself yourself, because we have just use the Lagrange equation for this independently, and for this equation you will see that you will arrive at this just one or two steps में आपको ये मिल जाएगा. And similarly we will have this particular equation for when we are using the phi coordinate. Fine. So this is the moving particle in the circular cylindrical coordinates. Now after that, we are going to take another important thing, that is what we called as the Hamilton's equations. Hamilton's equations. Hamilton's equations. Again, it might be very familiar to you because of the course you have done in your classical mechanics. Now, actually, this Hamilton was the first to show that the Euler equation for this Lagrangian enabled the equation of motion to be reduced to a set of coupled this first order partial differential equation called the Hamilton's equation. यानी the Hamilton actually used this Euler equation for the Lagrangian जो हमने अभी लिखी है to so say that this Euler equation for the Euler equation for the Lagrangian, that is the Lagrangian equation can be reduced to a first order partial differential equation using this Hamilton's equations. So how we can do that? Now you know that the canonical momentum term आपने सुनी होगी. The canonical momentum I denote it by pi. The canonical momentum pi, that which will be the conjugate to coordinate conjugate to a coordinate qi, is defined as, can anyone tell me how I can define this momentum? It is a conjugate to a coordinate k. Simply pi will be equal to partial L by partial dou q dot I, right? Dou q dot I. I'm seeking you many things because I know you have done these things. So the canonical momentum pi, that is which is conjugate to a coordinate qi, is defined as, in terms of the Lagrangian, pi will be equal to dou L by. Now this particular definition is actually consistent with the elementary definition of momentum in the Cartesian coordinates, where we define in one dimension, that the kinetic energy, you know that अभी जो मैं कह रहा था 1/2 m q dot square, mv square जो हम बोलते हैं, and this momentum is equal to mv. So mv, or I can say that this is equal to m q dot square. So these are the elementary definitions of the energy and the momentum, q dot square. So from this particular equation, you can name this as some equation 1, and also we have the Lagrangian equations of motion. What are the Lagrangian equation of motion? So अभी जो मैंने Lagrangian equation of, in terms of the coordinates q I लिखी थी, so I can write it here, d by dt of partial L by partial q dot I minus partial L by partial q I. अभी जो मैंने लिखी थी dou L by dou x dot I minus dou L by, now I am using this generalized generalized coordinate system, so I will use this q dot I instead of xi. Okay, now from this Lagrangian equation and from this equation, now what is dou L by dou q dot I? You don't have to do it here, but I will just show you separately. So dl by dou q dot I, so I will write down this as d by dt of p dot I, because this is equal to q dot I minus partial L by partial qi will be equal to 0, right? Or now dou by, sorry, not p dot I, this is pi, simply d by dt of pi. Okay, now this is d by dt of pi, that means the derivative of this kind pi, it will be pi dot will be equal to partial L by partial qi. So from this definition and the Lagrangian equations of the motion, I will write here this p dot I will be equal to partial L by partial qi. You just name this as some equation second. Now let me define the Lagrangian delta L as, so the Lagrangian L will take the form as dl. This is this Lagrangian, that is given by summation over I, shabash. Now this Lagrangian L actually is a function of, what is it function of? L is actually defined as a function of this conjugates pi, qi and t. Pi, qi and t. So let me write this as dl will be equal to partial L by partial qi into dqi, total derivative, plus partial L by partial q dot I into dq dot I, plus it is a function of partial L by partial t into dt. These three things. Okay, now I already know some of the things here. What is partial L by partial qi? So I will write down this as summation over I partial L by partial qi, that is p dot I into dqi plus partial L by partial q dot I, that is pi into dq dot I minus, oh sorry, plus partial L by partial t into dt. I will write down this as such. Okay, this is dl. Fine. Now, how you also know that the Hamiltonian is defined. A Hamiltonian we can define it two ways. One is the sum of the kinetic energy and the potential energy. Also, we define this Hamiltonian H as summation over I in terms of this conjugate momentum Pi Q dot I minus L. किया है ये?
जी सर।
Very good. So this Hamiltonian is also defined as like this. Okay. Or I can write down this as dH now will be equal to summation over I जो मैं यहाँ पे this will be like no H will be like okay Pi okay let me just first write it again here so that H will be equal to Pi Q dot I minus L. This is summation over I Hamiltonian. Okay, now dH will be now I will write down this as I will just substitute this Lagrangian dl. So dH will be equal to d of this p dot I into q dot I minus dl. But dl we already have defined. So I will write down this as summation over I. Okay, p dot I into dq dot I, p dot I into d. Sorry, not dot. It will be pi here. Pi into dq dot I plus q dot I into dpi minus dl. dl. But dl we have already defined as this dl जो मैंने अभी लिखा था this but dl is equal to summation what was it p dot I dqi plus pi dq dot I minus plus partial L by partial T into dt, right? So I will just substitute dl here. Okay, then my dH, so this equation, I will write it here, dH will be equal to, Shabash, summation over I will write this as such, pi dq dot I minus q, sorry, plus q dot I into d pi dpi minus summation over I, this thing. So it will be p dot I d oh, quickly just running out of time. P dot I into dqi plus pi dq dot dq dot I plus partial L by partial T into dt. Sorry, into dt. इसी के साथ not as a whole bracket फिर यहाँ पे dt. Okay, or if you look at this p dot I pi and dq dot I, this term and this term, this is minus and this term, so this term and this term will be gone, so I will be left with this summation over I q dot I dpi minus p dot I into dqi, then this will become minus this sign will make it minus partial L by partial T into dt, right? You can name this as equation third. Okay, now from the chain rule, from the chain rule of differentiation, I also can define this delta H as, because H is defined as this. So if from the chain rule, I can take the derivative. So this I will write down from chain rule of this differentiation. From the chain rule of differentiation, this dH is defined as summation over I. Okay, now partial H taking the derivative with respect to pi into dpi total derivative plus partial H by partial qi into dqi plus, because this H is a function of pi qi and t, then partial H by partial t into dt. This is from the definition, from the chain rule of the differentiation. This is what I directly obtained from this equation. So this is a function, this is, H is a function of p canonical this momentum pi generalized coordinate qi and the time t. So from the definition, okay, now from these two equations I can equate the coefficients of this dpi, dqi and dt. So on equating the coefficients of this dpi, dqi and dt, we obtain because this is equal to dh, this is equal to dh, so this part will be equal to, this is equal to dh. So left hand side is equal, so that means right hand side will be equal to the each other. On equating the coefficients, I will write down this as partial h by partial pi, partial h by partial pi, this will be equal to q dot I. Okay, then partial h by partial qi will be equal to minus p dot I, dqi equation, and this partial h by partial t will be equal to minus dou l by dou t. So this is the one, this is the two, and these equations must be very familiar to you, and this is what we called as a Hamilton's equations of the motion, right? You already have done this in the classical mechanics. So we obtain by using this and define the by using the principles of classical mechanics and also the Euler equation, we can obtain the Hamilton's equations of the motion. Now, also I would like to add one more important point. You might be knowing this, that in conservative system, this partial h we are taking by partial t is equal to 0, right? For the conservative system. What are the conservative system, by the way? Can anyone tell me what conservative systems क्या होते हैं? हम्म, क्या हुआ आप लोगों को? ये तो
Sir,
आपको पता हो?
HSL, sir, invariant.
हाँ?
Sir, HSL constant, sir.
और कोई definition और कोई this thing?
H is constant of motion.
Sir, H gets change can during the motion, sir.
चलो fine, ठीक है. Okay. If you know this much thing, it's okay. So okay, so in conservative system, that means it will not change. This is what it predicts actually, dh by dt will be equal to 0. That is, h has actually a constant value. H has the constant, that is what we, when the Hamiltonian of the system will remain the same throughout the system, so we will say that the system is called a conservative system, and that constant value is actually equal to the total energy of the system. So that's why we say define this Hamiltonian as T plus V, total energy, है ना? जैसे लैग्रेंजियन हम m t minus v define करते हैं, तो Hamiltonian is also defined as the total energy, kinetic energy plus the potential energy. So this is this for conservative system, this Hamiltonian actually defines the total energy of the system. Okay, so that's it. Now, any questions or any queries regarding this? Was a little fast. I was fast because I know you know much of these things. You have done in your classical mechanics. Just it is just a repetition of all those things. If you need a treatment, for example, detailed treatment, I did not do the treatment. If you are interested in doing the treatment of this, I will do that for you. But I know since doing this Euler equation from the couple of lectures, you can easily find. For example, for this, you can use the Euler equation. I left it deliberately for you, so you can use the Euler equation for this coordinate and this coordinate. You will obtain these equations. So this is an equation, this is a radial equation equated to the centrifugal force, and this is actually a conservation of the angular momentum. So this actually depicts the conservation, that the angular momentum will remain conserved for this certain processes. Also, this Hamilton's equations, this is everything is there. You don't need to do anything more about it. We just define this canonical momentum in terms of this the conjugate coordinate qi, and from that very thing, and using this Euler equation, I obtain the Hamilton's equations of the motion. Okay, just I define one simple thing, that is canonical momentum, this particular thing, and using then using this Euler equation or the Lagrangian equation of motion. So Lagrangian equation of motion are also what we call as, they are Euler equations for the Lagrangian, and since they involve the Lagrange, we call them as a Lagrangian equations of the motion. That's one thing. And then regarding the other thing, here. So Hamilton's principle में क्या है? Usually we have done the Lagrangian for different coordinates, like we used to do it for the x, y, and yx. But here I am using the different coordinates as I am using this integrand f जो functional में जो function में लेता था, that as a function. Now just I take this function as a function of time t and as some position x and xi dot. So this is just simply this a later modification to Euler equation when we were taking this x, y, and yx as a there's an independent this now as the variables. So the Hamilton's principle and then Hamilton's equation we all, so that is why I told you in the very beginning that this Euler equation where the rest of the unit will all remain on your Euler equation. So the Euler equation plays very important role in obtaining all these things like Hamilton's equations, Hamilton's principle, and okay, so that's it about some. This is actually in continuation with the previous lecture where we talk about the several dependent variables. When we have the several dependent variables, now we will be talking about the several independent variables. If I have the independent variables, now independent variables means the variables which will be अभी तक जो हम dependent variable like x1, x2, x3, then xi dot x1. So we will be taking some the variables which will be independent of each other. So how we can define the how we can use this variation calculus or the variation principle for that. Yeah, Euler equation, what could be the form of an Euler equation for that particular case. So now again, if you have some questions, do ask me. अगर कोई कुछ समझ पे नहीं आया, you can just ask me quickly.